Hello everyone, my name is Thi Giang from Vietnam. Today I'm talking about cultural diplomacy in Vietnam's foreign policy in the period of 2001 to 2020. The time frame is limited in the first 2 decades of the 21st century. Before diving into the main content of the research, I'd like to mention briefly about how culture has been studied in the world and in Vietnam, and how cultural diplomacy is defined. First of all, diplomacy is regarded traditionally as the process by which governments, acting through official agents, communicated with one another. However, in present, diplomacy is involved by not only state but also non-state actors, and witnessed the emergence of new terminologies such as tennis diplomacy, referring to the US and China, oil diplomacy, which mainly refers to a new approach of the Middle East, economic and political diplomacies that are more familiar, and the latest, vaccine diplomacy is looked forward amid the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The practice of cultural diplomacy has existed and been used for centuries, starting from trading and exchanging goods activities in the so distant past, and so is often associated with soft power. Milton Cumming described cultural diplomacy as the exchange of ideas, information, art, and other aspects of culture among nations and their peoples to foster mutual understanding. Similarly, Institute of Cultural Diplomacy described this term as a course of actions which are based on and utilize the exchange of ideas, values to promote national interests and beyond. And it can be practiced by either the public sector, private sector, or civil society. While Lanzowski supposed that cultural diplomacy is tailored for not only mutual understanding but also national security enhancement and protection and advancement of other vital national interests. In Vietnam, although there have been a number of conferences and seminars on cultural diplomacy, Vietnam has not yet a general concept of cultural diplomacy. Um, Ambassador Phan Sang Chiu once said that cultural diplomacy multiplies, multiples the nation's soft power, introducing the identity of the country. So, although there are so many expressions to interpret, the nature of cultural diplomacy is making use of cultural values and national identity to serve national goals through diplomatic activities. Then how Vietnam has adopted this kind of form of diplomacy to achieve national goals and interests, and which factors has affected changes in Vietnam's cultural diplomacy. The first factor should be mentioned is the changing perception of power in international relations. Some people argue that hard power or military power or even economic power is not as important as it used to be. Joseph Nye claimed that applying military force is becoming costly than previously, which is a consequence of many factors. Although the importance of hard power can't be denied, in practice, hard power does not always generate desired results in the present context. So many people believe that hard power is shifting its emphasis to soft power. Intangible power resources such as ideologies, cultures, heritages, languages, and norms are preferable and applicable to gain attraction and set the agenda to achieve national goals in less costly yet more effective ways. For Vietnam, not a strong country in terms of military and economy, but long-standing cultural diversity. And yes, it's easy to see that Vietnam is taking advantage of this diversity to gain economic and political benefits. Affecting adjustment in Vietnamese cultural diplomacy is changes in the world politics in the first 2 decades of the 21st century. There are three notable events which significantly changed the whole world. For one, the 911 attack in the US set off seismic waves that changed the culture, the security policy of the US, and gave to the floor new approaches in dealing with tensions. For two, the financial crisis in 2007 and 2008 greatly affected the economies of almost all countries in the world, leading to the shifting economic power. And for three, the US-China tensions reached new heights when the trade war broke out in 2019 and showed no signs of cooling down. The fact that the two great powers, the US and China, colliding in lots of respects, reflects changes at a deeper layer, not only in the relation between the two countries, but also in the distribution of the world's power structure. There are many more changes that international security has witnessed during this period, as you can see on the screen, besides what I have just mentioned, ranging from traditional to non-traditional issues. These events here is just a part of what makes the period 2001 to 2020 change. So the two main factors, which are changing perception of power in international relations and changes in the world politics in this period of time, have had significant impacts on all countries in the world, making a huge power shift, making fostering countries to change and adjust strategies, including Vietnam, making Vietnam integrate into the world as a trusted partner and a responsible member of the international community. In order to have better understanding about the difference in the past, which contributes to the revolutionary course of Vietnam's foreign policy, I'm gonna present the main features of Vietnam's cultural diplomacy before and after 2000. To be frank, although it was only until the 25th diplomatic conference that cultural diplomacy was promoted to become a major pillar in comprehensive diplomacy besides the political and economic ones, all three were complementary and linked tightly before that conference. But due to historical circumstances, each period has different requirements, so the role of each pillar is considered and applied differently. In brief, before 2000, cultural diplomacy was given less attention than political and economic ones because these two forms of diplomacy were extremely urgent to lead Vietnam to overcome difficulties during wartime. Since the reconstruction in 1986, cultural diplomacy had been more emphasized when the fifth meeting of the Eighth Party Central Committee in 1998 issued a resolution on building and developing the culture of an advanced Vietnam imbued with national identity. After 2000, cultural diplomacy has been paid more attention and resources and been recognized as a major pillar in comprehensive diplomacy, closely intertwined with political and economic diplomacy. So all diplomatic activities are conducted more synchronously and systematically compared to the period before 2000. So thanks to correct guidelines of the Communist Party and the state, Country has expressed a great role in strengthening Vietnam's foreign policy during the time frame 2001 to 2020, which could be noted at 3 points I'm about to mention here. Firstly, it helps promote the image of Vietnam through books, publications, and especially mass media. Major channels such as VTV4, VOV Radio, and worldwide broadcast channels such as CNN, BBC, all feature Vietnamese landscapes. Cultural diplomacy is the shortest, bright, connecting peoples all over the world. Therefore, it's an absolute necessary to make use of mass media to shape international friends' perceptions of Vietnam. Consequently, unconditional support from them will make an immense contribution to the process of cooperation, adjusting foreign policies of other countries in a direction that is beneficial to Vietnam. Secondly, cultural diplomacy functions along with political diplomacy. The period 2001 to 2008 was the time when cultural diplomacy began to be conducted peri- periodically and annually through Vietnamese weeks and days, domestically and abroad. These weeks and days work as an ambassador, delivering a message to the world about a friendly, stable, and peaceful Vietnam. Cultural diplomacy plays a crucial role in turning countries into strategic and comprehensive partners, and simultaneously generates positive recognition about Vietnam from countries that have little contact or little understanding about Vietnam. And most importantly, Vietnam's image of friendliness and rapid transformation helps Vietnam win the great trust and confidence from the world. And lastly, cultural diplomacy is made use of to support economic pillar. Besides introducing Vietnam to the world, diplomatic activities also contribute to the promotion of tourism in trade investment through trade fairs and exhibitions of Vietnam's future products, which probably turn cottage industry into thriving businesses and help increase national income and open massive job opportunities for Vietnamese residents. And I have presented my research about the role of cultural diplomacy towards Vietnam's foreign policy in 2000, from 2001 to 2020. In short, cultural diplomacy during this time has been officially regarded as one out of three main pillars of the comprehensive diplomatic strategies. It also serves as the key foundation of the foreign affairs, implementing the guiding role and material foundation of political and economic diplomacy, and also it serves the goal of enhancing the Vietnam's position in the international arena, creating conditions to support social economic development. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your listening and thank you for following.